In your 2027 report, so you wrote that in 2025, but it is called AI 2027. You said that in mid 2025, we'd have the autonomous employee, which is sort of like AI agents taking instructions over Slack or Teams. That happened. I've actually got an AI agent in my WhatsApp, which I talk to. Of course, I've got Claude exploded obviously around the world, and now Claude have talked about their new Slack integration. But lots of people are using agents now, and that happened. I'd say for us at the we really sort of caught on to it at the start of 2026. You also said that by 2026, companies begin replacing entire corporate departments with AI agent subscriptions. 2027, the final job. AI automates the job of the human AI researchers themselves and begins the machine learning research to upgrade and build the next generation of AIs.
Yeah. So again, timelines. We are uncertain about how long it will take to achieve these milestones. In this scenario, they happen at those times. But by the time we had actually published the scenario, our timelines had shifted back a little bit. Specifically, mine had. So like my 50% mark was 2028 for the full automation of AI research milestone, not 2027. And then other people on my team had more like 2030, 2031, things like that. So I kind of want to like maybe try to illustrate this with, we have like this probability distribution. It's like a smeared out probability mass. And like the 50% mark is this particular year, but there's like a lot of possibility that it happens later, years earlier or years later, right?
Got you. What is this AI 2040?
So AI 2027 was a best guess prediction as to how things would actually go.
Yeah.
AI 2040 Plan A is our recommendation for how things should go. So we called it AI 2040 because in this scenario, they build superintelligence in 2040 instead of much sooner because they delay things.
Why do they delay things?
To manage the risks and make sure that power is distributed equitably. They basically like regulate AI development so that it still continues, but at a slower, more reasonable pace in a more transparent and safe way, and spread out over more countries and companies. And as a result, they get to superintelligence in 2040 instead of in, say, 2030. And then we call it Plan A because, well, it's our recommendation. Like we've come up with a plan for what government should do. And the scenario is an illustration of what it might look like to implement that plan. In a similar way to how AI 2027 is kind of an illustration of what it might look like to do what the companies are currently planning to do. If that makes sense.
And is this wishful thinking, or is this what you think is going to happen?
No, it's definitely not what we think is going to happen.
It's not what you think is going to happen?
No. What we think is going to happen is still something more like this, right? We don't expect the world to listen to us, right? This is our recommendation. But we hope that people do something like this, and we think it's possible. But it's not our like prediction for what's going to happen by default,
So I do want to run through the plans, the potential plans, and also Plan A. But just to close off on how things might look after the year, because I think I wanted to touch on robotics too, and I've got this graph here, which talks about share of labor output, which I found to be quite striking. I've been sat here wondering, as an employer who employs hundreds and hundreds of people, when all this stuff is going to happen. And, we're still hiring more people as things stand. There are some roles where our consideration is shifting considerably. And I'd have to say that, we're probably in the phase where our teams are AI powered and they're using agents to do some of their work now. But I'm wondering as an employer, like when does this happen?
Yeah, great question. So if we could maybe zoom in on this a little bit.
Yeah, we'll put it on the screen.
So this is in the AI 2040 Plan A scenario. And notably in that scenario, there's significant regulation introduced in 2029 that slows down the pace of AI development. In the scenario, they do that sort of at the last moment. So in the scenario, if they hadn't done that, then it was about to take off similar to how it does in AI 2027. But as you can see, like in the scenario, there's still a bunch of jobs at the point that they implement it. And this gets back to what I was saying earlier, is that if you wait until most people have lost their jobs to regulate the AI companies, that's already too late because they will probably already have super intelligent AI by then, because their strategy is to first get super intelligent AI and then do all that stuff.
And I think you say that it would collapse the economy. It would cause even more harm to suddenly regulate something that all of us and all of our lives were then at that point relying on.
Oh, but it's a risk well worth taking. I mean, it's true that right now a lot of people use AI for a lot of things, but like if we could somehow slow or halt AI development now to set up a better way to do it, that would be well worth it, even though there would be significant costs.
But you can't over here, right? Can you? At this point where AI and robotics are doing most of the labor output.
That's right. But in this scenario, in the AI 2040 Plan A scenario, they put in the regulations in 2029. And then they slowly and carefully develop AI in a way that avoids all the problems, which we can get into in a little bit.